What's up, boys and girls? I'm going to talk to you today about how to conduct an ambush. All right, so an ambush is a surprise attack that you conduct on the enemy while they're in transit. Why you would conduct an ambush is it enables a smaller force to be able to have a larger impact on the enemy. Right, a smaller number of guys can affect a larger number of guys, and as well as immediately walking into target selection. If you aren't specifically targeting the infantry troops, not only is it going to be an easier fight, but the reward of causing havoc there is going to be greater, right? If you're disrupting the supply lines, if you're fucking up their resupply of food or water or ammo or batteries, or movement of information or weapons themselves, that's going to have a much more dramatic effect than an infantry squad taking casualties when they already were expecting that was going to happen. Okay, and it's going to reduce the risk of you getting got because you're not going to be fighting the fighters. You're going to be fighting the logistical train. Okay, as well as target selection, we want to worry about having good location selection. We want to target the enemy in an area where they're going to be isolated, where they're going to have a less ability to escape us, and where we are going to have an advantageous position to fire upon them, where we're going to have good cover and concealment, where we're going to have good economies of fire, good angles of fire on the enemy. All right? Is when you initiate the ambush, you're going to want to literally set like a bank robber timer, because you've just kicked over the hornet's nest, and it's a matter of time before reinforcements come, whether that's drones, whether that's air assets, whether that's another infantry unit coming to the spot where you were just at to try and find you and follow you. So you have a very limited amount of time to have your effects on the enemy, and you need to be, especially if you're in a leadership position, keeping track of that and making sure you're not staying on target so long that you're about to get bye-byed. Okie doke. So now we will transition to the tabletop. Okie dokie. So as we are patrolling up to our ambush site, we want to organize our patrol in a specific order. In the front, we're going to want security. Likely followed directly behind them is going to be the platoon leader, patrol leader, squad leader, whoever the hell's in charge of this operation. After that, we're going to have the support element. And then last but not least, we're going to have the main effort or assault. Okay? As we are patrolling, the last defendable terrain feature, or the last definable terrain feature, the last thing that we can look at and know where it is and offer some level of cover and concealment before the ambush site, we're going to call that a objective rally point, or ORP. At the ORP, we're going to pause. We're going to take 360 security. We're going to do whatever we need to do to ourselves or our gear last minute before we actually initiate the ambush. If we need to stash packs, if we need to stash radios, whatever. We're going to leave it there at the ORP. And then the security element and the leadership are going to step off to do a leader's recon and establish the security in the ambush site itself. Okay, so we're going to be loading this ambush site inverse, right? Security is going to go. They're going to stay in. Leadership's going to come back. They're going to pick up everybody else. They're going to put support in place, and then the last people to come in place are going to be assault. All right? Now, actually, at the ambush site, as we see here, we have our security element guarding our flanks and the rear. Our support element is set up in a position similar to where we would put heavy guns or guns with a higher and increased rate of fire in the defense for their final protective fires. That's kind of what we're setting up here at the ambush site. Okay, so those are going to be located on our flanks. So they're going to have good enfilade of fire. This is enfilade fire, where you're shooting down the long axis of the enemy. Okay, you're not shooting here where you're having to traverse your gun left to right. You basically just face the front and hammer down, and you're going to have effects on the entire enemy force. Okay, so again, we're going to set up our systems with an increased rate of fire, with our 40 round PMags, with our D60s, with bipods, with 18, 16, 20-inch barrels, whatever we got. We're putting it there. And then our assault element is just going to occupy throughout the length of the ambush site. And we are trying to establish a kill zone all right in here. Here's our kill zone. We're going to want to mass fires on everything right in this box. Okay? To that point, we're not going to start shooting at the enemy when the first Vic is right here. We're going to wait till the entire or the majority or as much as we can get initially into the kill zone of the enemy force is in the kill zone before we initiate the ambush. Who initiates the ambush? Leadership initiates the ambush. The patrol leader, the squad leader, the platoon leader, whoever's highest ranking out on the ambush site, they are going to be the ones that initiate. They're going to be least likely to fall asleep. They're going to be least likely to get jumpy on the trigger. And you also want to actually initiate the ambush with a reliable weapon system, not with a open bolt or something that is at an increased likelihood to jam. You want to have just your regular AR, AK, whatever the case is, be the actual first round that goes off to let everybody know it's time to start shooting. Okay, so once that ambush is initiated, you're going to have your flanking guns be firing enfilade fire as much as they can into that ambush site. You're obviously going to have your assaulting element firing into that ambush site as well. Ideally, they are picking out more individual targets, whereas your support element is just hammering down rounds into that kill zone at a pretty high rate of fire. Okay? Once you have deemed that everyone in there is eliminated, if that happens for you, you're going to want your guns to cut off or to shift, and you're going to want elements of your assault to actually come in and sweep through the kill zone. You can either have all of your assault element jump into the kill zone, sweep their little area that they have, and then jump out, or you can have one or two guys come in and then sweep through laterally while everybody else covers them. Just depends on how big your kill zone is, what your manpower is, what the terrain features are. You decide what works best for you. All right, when you leave this place, you're going to leave in the opposite order you came, right? So assault is going to finish their time in the kill zone. They are going to leave. Once assault has completely left, then support is going to file breakdown, and they're going to leave because support has to stay to support the assault. It's not only until assault leaves that support can leave. And security is securing everybody. So until everybody leaves, they can't leave. So we'll leave assault, support, security, head back to the ORP, and establish a 360, make sure we're all there, address any issues we have, and make sure we're not being followed. All right. This is a linear ambush. It is an ambush where all of our forces are in a line. The other type of ambush you could conduct would be an L-shaped ambush, where our forces are in the shape of an L. The advantage to an L-shaped ambush is allows us to put all of our support guns, our support team, in complete enfilade fire. So they can fire down the long axis very evenly, very perfectly, and have extremely heavy effects on target. Okay? It also puts them at a good angle to support whoever comes in and sweeps the kill zone. They can come in and come out, and it's much easier to shift fires. It, however, makes it a little bit more complicated. It's harder to command and control. You have more people spread across a larger area, and you have to make sure that fires are deconflicted, that nobody's accidentally shooting into your own friendly forces. All right? Either ambush, whenever you initiate, it's a great idea. If you can get a mobility kill on the lead Vic, that's wonderful, because then it forces everybody to not be able to push through the kill zone, which will be the enemy's primary course of action. They're going to want to just hammer down, especially if they're in vehicles, and just get out of the kill zone. But if you knock that first Vic out, they'll be stuck there. If you're able to knock out that last Vic as well, then they will literally be stuck there and have to either die or abandon their vehicles and take off on foot, which is unlikely. So that's a great strategy to employ. Yep, that's the ambush, kids. The fundamentals of guerrilla fighting are right here, allowing a small force to attack a larger force that then has a greater effect on an even larger force, right? Our, whatever this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, our 12 guys can attack, you know, a platoon size element, 30, 40 guys, and have really positive effects. And then if those 40 dudes were transporting all of the water for 500 guys, well, now we've had a positive effect on the entire force in our AO by just doing this one ambush with our 12 men. The end.